Nigeria People's Party, but electing Peter Obi was a collective effort by all the young people of Nigeria, including myself. So I was acting in two capacities in my polling unit. So when it got to the end of the election, I gave some very clear instructions to the people that were there with me. Don't let anything illegal happen in this place, no matter what. Don't let anything illegal happen here. And my joy was that at the end of the day, Labour Party won that particular unit, like they did in the whole country. But then they wanted to do this thing, this rigging thing that we always do in our elections. We wanted to start doing it. Firstly, to inflate the number that voted for the APC, and secondly, to inflate the voter turnout in that particular polling unit. Everybody was saying, "Oh, let's do it. Let's inflate. Let's hype." I said, "No." It was trying to get into. It was trying to become rowdy and violent and things like that. I calmly spoke to my people. I said, "There's no need for quarreling. There is no need for fighting. So there's no reason that brothers, should be quarreling or fighting because of an election. But if I am here and I, a fellow young person, is telling you that you should do what is right, because it is right. Because we have to start learning to do what is right." I asked them, I said, "Do you think the Nigeria that you people pray for will happen magically? That Nigeria that you want, where you get jobs, where you get social security, where you get social amenities, where you get basic infrastructure, where the opportunities abound for your growth and progress in life. You think that Nigeria will just happen magically, will just appear from nowhere?" I told them that it is acts like this, acts of defiance, acts of courage, acts that go against the current status quo, the status quo which is what? Of corruption, of criminality, illegality and injustice. I said we must put an end to that particular narrative. If we do not start doing that, then that good Nigeria we want will never come. The importance of doing good things in society, no matter how small, no matter how inconsequential, no matter how intangible it is, the moment you stand for truth, the moment you stand for justice, you have just built one tower. You have done one big thing in the large system of things. Because your act will inspire someone else to do something else. And before you know, the whole place is lighted up. There's a Chinese proverb that says, no matter how dark, even the faintest spark can lighten the whole place. The smallest act of moral patriotism, of moral politics, of ethical practices, if the smallest act of it can mean so much. And if I don't start doing something, and you don't start doing something, and Emeka does not start doing something, and Bayo does not begin doing something, and Rufai is not doing something, how exactly will the nation move ahead? How exactly will the nation get better? Do you think it will happen by magic? It doesn't happen like that. Just because everybody is saying one thing does not mean that you cannot come out and be the one who speaks the truth. When I stood against that crowd, I knew that a lot of them were going to speak against me. A lot of them were going to antagonize me. Some of them were going to see me as naive. I want to be the one who is the righteous Saint Peter. But no. That is not the idea. The idea is that I knew that what was going to go on there is the same problem, is the same thing that has been making our society look stupid, irrespective of the fact that we are a nation of smart people. Those little things that we do, we think it does not matter. Those little things we do, we think they are inconsequential acts, they are trivial things. Those are the things that matter. So that particular mentality hasn't been able to help us. Nigerians are also scamming themselves. The whole environment, the whole nation is filled with people scamming themselves. Is that you are a scammer or you are the one who is being scammed? So we must first of all stop lying to ourselves. Do we want a nation called Nigeria or not? That is the important question. that all the stakeholders of our national politics, that all the key players of our nation should answer. Do they want Nigeria or not? Do we want Nigeria or not? Because until we understand ourselves in this political dispensation, the Hausa man will always be fighting for the Hausa people. The Yoruba man will always be fighting for the Yoruba people. The Igbo man will always be fighting for the Igbo people. And the Calabar man will always be fighting for the Calabar people. So who fights for the Nigerian people? If everybody is trying to fight for their own tribe, who fights for the structure? Who fights for Nigeria itself? If everybody is trying to fight for their tribe and their own group and their own small political segmentation, everybody is trying to fight for their own segmentation. Who fights for the country? So it is a situation where we either say yes to it or no. Do we want a country? If I am in parliament, and when I am in parliament, I will push the narrative of reformation. We have to reform our country. The people of Nigeria should be given the right to choose if to continue with this political dispensation or if we are going to seek for a referendum. If we are going to seek for a referendum, because in a situation where we cannot achieve anything as a united body without thinking about ethnic differences or tribal differences or religious affiliations, then we don't have a nation. We should be Nigerians first, before every other thing. Your allegiance to your nation supersedes your allegiance to even your family. Your allegiance to your nation supersedes even that for your family, because your family is part of the nation also. So being allegiant to the nation means you are allegiant to your family. But in a situation we have a nation where nobody is allegiant to, we really are allegiant to the country when something is coming out. When something is not coming out from the country, we toss Nigeria aside. To hell with Nigeria. We cannot have a nation without national unity, without a uniform vision. We spent 3 good years, fighting, killing ourselves over Biafra and Nigeria because people want to break off. For over 3 years, we were butchering ourselves, killing ourselves. Over 2 million people died in the Biafra-Nigeria war. Do you know what 2 million people is? Imagine Manchester United and Chelsea are playing the game in Stamford Bridge. Imagine the capacity of the Stamford. I think it's close to 100,000 people capacity, Stamford Bridge. Imagine that number, that size of people. Imagine times 3 or 4. Those are the number of people that died in the Nigerian Biafra civil war that happened here between 1967 and 1970. And even going back, further than 1967, people have already started killing themselves over Nigeria. Over 2 million people died from bullets, from bombs, from starvation, from diseases on the issue of Nigeria. We are politically careless. We are playing with our lives. Yes, we are playing with our lives. Because in that situation, when one group of persons are fighting to live, and another group of persons are fighting for them to stay or maybe maintain order or something, I don't really know what happened between Ojukwu and Gowon. That thing that they were doing called the war was pointless. Personally, I think those men should be arrested. They should be persecuted for war crimes. Gowon especially. Because he came to the eastern part of the nation to perform a police action against a dissident group of persons led by Ojukwu. But rather, the man waged war. In reality, he had waged a war against the whole South. Instead of him to call for the arrest of a single entity, he rather sent the whole armed forces to attack the whole southern region. So they go around in innocent communities, dropping bombs from the sky, killing innocent people, destroying properties, displacing people, and they were out there dying of malaria, of infection. Some were starving to death, some were raped and then killed by Nigerian soldiers. I believe that those 2 men should be taken to the highest criminal courts in this country, and we will do it. If I'm sent to parliament, I will seek justice for the 2 million Nigerians that were slain in that feast of madness called the war. They have to come and answer for their crimes. But that is aside. So after this war, the politicians that existed then could not see it fit to call for, to seek for a national consensus. Do we continue with Nigeria or not? So it's basically, you either continue in Nigeria or you die. That was the option that they gave the people. And there's a limit to what that can achieve. You can only oppress people and force them to do your bidding for so long. One day they will revolt. Either they will revolt or their children or their children's children, one of them will revolt. And when they revolt, it becomes a bloody affair. You are in danger, they are in danger, everybody's in danger. But this is something that can be solved with just a simple gentlemanly agreement. Do we do Nigeria? Do we end Nigeria? So it is high time that we have an official inquiry. An official inquiry that is going to be financed and monitored by the federal government. A consensus. Give us your opinions. 270 million Nigerians have to decide whether to continue with the country or not. And it's because of the resources that exist in this country. That is why some people are not willing to let any meaningful thing happen here. We love Nigeria because we love our homes, we love our people, we love our families and our friends, because that is Nigeria to us. But then the political entity called Nigeria is as useless to the average Nigerian as a bicycle is to a fish. Very useless. What does Nigeria do for the average Nigerian? Nothing. The average graduate in Nigeria, what does the country do for them? It's like, being in a relationship with people and none of you wants to be in a relationship. Instead of, acting in synergy to build a relationship, you'll be acting solo to destroy the relationship. That is just how it is. The Bible said, can two work together unless they agree? They cannot. It's a spiritual condition. You have to agree before you can work together. Everything's going to be tumultuous, chaotic, and just nonsensical, like what we are saying today. So we ask, is there justice in Nigeria? Is there a law in Nigeria? This is the question we ask in our country, because the whole place has just been turned into a chaotic, playground where anything is allowed, anything can go. Nobody cares about the country. Everybody cares about the country's wealth. Well, that has to change, because we cannot continue like this forever. That's why it's important that I go to Parliament, because only in the Parliament can narratives like this be pushed to the forefront. The people can't make it happen. The government has to make it happen. The government has to care about the people so much so to seek their opinion if they wish to continue with this country called Nigeria, or if they wish to secede into their different aspects. It's not by force. I do not support the splitting of our nation. I prefer Nigeria big, intimidating and powerful. I prefer Nigeria influential and intimidating. We are a very, very intimidating country. There has to be national inquiry from house to house. On social media, there has to be polls. Do we live as a nation? Yes. No. If no, then how do you exactly want us to live? Do we break up into different regions? Do we take up a different style of governance? What do you want us to do? There are several different options. And only the government can sponsor these kind of things. And it can only be pushed by the government if the parliaments are able to make it resounding enough for the executives to pick it up. And the parliament can never ever make it happen if people are not there to speak in favor of this. Nigeria is important, not just to us in Nigeria, but to every other part of Africa. Everybody sees it. Without Nigeria, Africa cannot be anything. So I don't support the breaking of Nigeria, but instead of Nigeria to exist and the people keep living in hellish conditions, then let Nigeria end. The people are the most important asset to any society. If the people don't want Nigeria, then the people have to tell themselves what they want. But let's call the spade a spade. Come on, guys. It's not working. It's close to 70 years now. It's not working. This current system is not working. If it was supposed to work, it would have worked by now. So it's imperative that we seek another option. Come on. basic, another thing. Even in the game, if you play certain strategy and doesn't work out, you change strategy. The strategy that we're using to run our society is not working. Do we abandon the strategy or do we tweak it to make it work better? But we don't even believe in a Nigeria to start with. Come on, guys. People can die for what they believe in. So if people can die for what they believe in, why can't they hunger for it? They can stay hungry for it. They can sacrifice for it if they believe in it. But Nigerians will not believe in Nigeria. That is why it is easy to bribe Nigerians in elections. It's easy to induce them. Nobody believes in this system in the first place. So come on, give it to me. After all, we are scamming ourselves. Come on. But in a situation where the people believe in their country, bribery is an insult to a patriot. Bribery is an insult to a patriot and it's a crime against the country. Even in Nigeria, theoretically, paper, it's a crime. But come on, we know bribery is a normal thing. You bribe even in the government houses. Even in police station, you're bribing. So you see the situation that we are running on flat tires. So we have to make a decision. So we have to send people like myself to parliament. That is why I solicit support. It is not easy to enter into the government of Nigeria. It's not easy. Nigeria is one of the most difficult places to be in office. Why? Because the people are not in agreement. If the people are in agreement, then it's easy for them to say, okay, this person is, is wonderful for the job. Let's give him the job. But this person is not wonderful for the job. Let's not employ him. But in Nigeria, some people are just there to benefit from whatever is being shared. Whatever is just going around, they want their own share. So they will do whatever it takes to have their own share. As if they don't see. You know. The people that are going around voting APC in different states, you think they don't know that the country is bad? Come on, man. They know. They are part of the country. Or the governments, the people in government. Do you think they don't know that the economy, that the people are suffering? They know. But in a situation where you have no emotions for your country, you don't care. You simply don't care. The country means nothing to you. So we have to find a way to make our people believe in their nation. So what are we going to do? We are going to ask the people themselves, do they want Nigeria or not? You see these guys in these regions, they are advocating for Biafra and Ariwa and Ududuwa and whatever they call themselves these days. Those are not even supposed to be something that we even talk about. We are all brothers and sisters in Nigeria. It's not like other countries where they have different skin colors. Come on, we are the same people. Don't let the language and the culture deceive you. Africa is the same people. The distance and the climate just made us different in our practices and our traditions and our culture and our languages. But in the real sense, we are all the same people. Come on, guys. There is no reason why we shouldn't be able to make decisions together, like one. The modern way to run a democracy is to get the people involved. Let the people be involved in the government. It is sweeter that way. It is sweeter. It's more progressive. It's easier because the people help the government achieve governmental visions. But in a situation where the people hate the government, so even what the government is doing is pissing the people off. They are protesting in states and you see people going to go and break government projects. Come on, does that make any sense? It's like going to burn your own house. But the people don't understand that. Because they see this government as a gang of co-conspirators and oppressors. So whatever this government has touched, they think it's cursed. So they want to destroy it to show their anger. But in the real sense, destroying government property is like destroying your own property. But the people do not care. Because they don't see Nigeria as that, especially people in my part of the country. In the south, the wealth distribution does not favor us. The power distribution does not favor us. So it is easy for people from the south to start advocating for, a break of a secession and things like that, to start acting nonchalantly about the whole Nigerian agenda. So we must choose today, young and old, male and female, educated and illiterate, employed and unemployed. We must choose today, do we want Nigeria or not?